You might think, because it's the off-season, that it's pretty quiet. But we work pretty hard here at the Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast. Henk Vogels, you're in the studio with me. Some of us do.
Some of us do.
Well, Merckxy in the control room, I believe we have a world exclusive.
Guys, it's all about Richo this week, and we've got some exclusive audio here. Let me roll it.
I guess they were just keen to get one last final word. It was pretty obvious that by wanting to ride for GB for the rest of my career, that would mean I didn't want to ride for Australia. It's almost like you leave your job, and 3 months later they go, well, you're fired. It's just words on a piece of paper, really, and they don't really carry much weight for me. I really did think I repaid them with all the results, the World Championship, the 3 Olympic medals that I returned. They've had their final word. Hopefully we can just put it to bed and just enjoy riding in circles.
I reckon that's Elon's new robot that he's selling. You can buy robots now. Is that him?
There's a Richo robot. I mean,
I need to clarify. That wasn't him.
We have so much to talk about.
But
with
they are
Maxie
his
Richardson.
words. They are his words that he did give in an interview, and we just added a voice, and it turns out the voice has a British accent, which is a bit weird. But.
A British
They
accent.
are his words. I call BS on a lot of that. There's a lot of those words that make me quite cranky. We're going to get to that. I just don't want it to suck all the goodness out of the bunker this week.
No, that's okay.
It's been a
healthy
big
conversation.
Week. It is healthy conversation. Hendrikus, thank you for joining us again.
My pleasure.
Merckxy, that was simply spectacular what you've done there.
Yeah, you like how I did that?
I do.
I'm
I very
on the
much
cutting
do.
edge.
You've also got Clive the Colnago in there with you.
Hey. It's Colin Nargo. Colin Nargo.
Colin. I couldn't remember what you'd called it, and so I went with Clive.
Okay.
Just get out of the way.
Next time you want to remember it, just think of Colin Carpenter.
Colin Carpenter. Okay. Colin the Colnago, valued at $17,500. The C.
Look at it.
Look at it. It is beautiful. It's a gravel bike. All you have to do is head to bikebug.com, and until the 13th of December, if you spend $150 on Pro Laser products, then you can go into the draw to win.
Well,
or Shimano.
That sounds great.
Sounds good.
Do you know that all my friends, and sounds really rude, this group of cyclists that I've got, but this is a bit of a story actually, but we have a WhatsApp group. And in COVID...
What's in the WhatsApp group?
Okay, it sounds bad. It's a piss take. But anyway, in COVID, you could only ride with 2 people. So we just went out and tried to get KOMs. K-O-M. Okay?
King.
K-O-M. King of the Mountain on Strava.
Right.
Anyway, as a piss take, we actually thought we'd call our WhatsApp group Com Swallowers.
K-O-M.
K-O-M, as in K-O-M swallowers. So anyway, shout out to the Com Swallowers because they are a top bunch of blokes.
It's one of those occasions where I don't have a follow-up question. I mean, I have so many follow-up questions. I'm not going to ask any of them.
All of them are all on. No, I'm not going into specifics.
To.
Not going into specifics, but all of them have jumped onto that $149 going to
Excellent.
Bike. They all want Colin Nargo.
Cool.
So they've all
Clive.
started. So
what a piece of Clive. Thank you to BikeBug for supporting us as always. And remember, if you go to bikebug.com/wheelhouse, you can go into the draw to win a Sturka nutrition pack. So get on that at the same time as you're spending your $149.99 or more on Shimano Pro or Laser.
Did you bring any Sturkas in today?
I didn't, because you ate one 2 weeks ago. Joel got stuck into them last week. And I'm now hoarding them for myself.
They're all gone.
What can I say?
They're freaking good.
Yes.
They're really good. I rate them very highly. Tastes like, when your mum used to make those Rice Krispie things, when you were little.
I mean, you're from a Dutch family, so you have a particularly strong heritage in Rice Krispie goodness.
Well, Spakelaas biscuits, they're so good.
Yes.
So good. Anyway, go on.
Before we go down speaking of food and chefs, Anna Meares has been announced as the chef de mission for the Australian Olympic team for LA, which is fantastic news.
Because she did a great job in Paris.
She did a very good job in Paris under, some tough circumstances. We're going to talk about Richo. It's a big topic, but we also want to talk about Strava, because is Strava the new scouting tool for the World Tour? We'll get stuck into that. Remco Evenepoel, our dual Olympic champion, he's been trying
a new sport.
Life's a beach.
Oh,
Okay, not
life
giving too
can be a
much away.
beach. Yeah, don't ruin it on that one, Merckxy. Cycling royalty is headed to the Tour Down Under, which is very exciting. We've had Peter Sagan in the past. We've had Lance Armstrong as well, drew the crowds. Very important to get a big name. So we're excited about that. And finally, guys, it's coming up to Christmas time. It is time to put your Christmas tree up, but the placement of it is very, very important. And we're going to talk about that. Saddle up. Let's dive into...
Straight into Richo, I reckon.
Straight
What do you
into the
think?
controversy of the week. So to recap, after the Paris Olympics, Matthew Richardson, Australia's most successful cycling Olympian at the Games in terms of the number of medals that he won, announced that he was defecting to Great Britain. He was born in Great Britain, moved to Australia when he was 9. Sounds Aussie, grew up in Australia, has never before mentioned...
Another Perth boy.
Not anymore. I think we're disowning him now. He announced he defected. Now, it did not go down well at the time, but everybody did say we wish him luck. The tide has turned somewhat on those well wishes because Matthew Richardson has now been handed a lifetime ban from Australia for Oz Cycling. He's also been banned from receiving any awards from Oz Cycling or from Australia for his sporting prowess.
You got to think he might have been in for one this year too, right?
He would, yeah. I mean, he definitely would have been up for Track Cyclist of the Year. Now, as we heard at the beginning, he's dismissed the importance or the relevance of this, but I think it's important to talk about why he was banned. Now, this has all come about because a review into the defection has seen that Matthew Richardson didn't act with the integrity that is expected. He hid his defection from Australia, specifically asked the UCI and Great Britain to keep that information back, underwent this whole process before dropping it on the Australians, which is not considered to be acting with much integrity. But the clangor about integrity and respect is that knowing that he was defecting, the Australians didn't know, he took his high-tech track bike and all equipment and all accessories to Great Britain with him. So he asked permission to take it, and Australia said yes because it was under the onus that he was going to be racing the Champions League. He would need that equipment, so of course they supported that. But he had no need for the equipment because he had already defected. He just hadn't told the Australians.
Wow.
So after he took the bike, he then dropped the clangor, and that is a very big threat to the intellectual property of the research and development that goes into these bikes. And for context, it is millions of dollars. It takes up so much of the budget because equipment on the track is so very important.
Very important.
So it is very important to protect that.
Was it not an off-the-shelf Argon?
Okay, good question, Merckxy.
Yeah.
So
Can't you just go buy one?
I'll answer this directly and then we can really dive into it. Matthew Richardson, aside from the very offensive things he's retorted with, very smart ass, like, it's like quitting your job and then told you fired 3 months ago.
Did you just say very smart ass?
I did.
That's going to be in the Daily Mail.
Well, whatever. This is a guy who represented his country at Olympic Games, World Championships, Commonwealth Games, has never until the last weekend represented another country, and he's now saying whatever as if I would ever want to race for Australia again. That is so, it's pathetic actually. And you know what? Richo has already told us by text that he doesn't like us too much because we wished him luck on his defection. So
he doesn't mind me.
It is what it is. But on the bike front, what he's said is it's just a stock standard off-the-shelf Argon bike. What he hasn't said is that his handlebars are a one-off pair of handlebars, specially designed and made for him, right? He's walked that straight into the camp at Great Britain. Also the wheels.
So this is
also his kit.
Post-Olympic.
Post-Olympics.
This is post-Olympics.
He took his Olympic bike, knowing that he didn't need it, to Great Britain.
Why would he just not leave his track bike back in Australia?
Well, because if he did that, the Australians would say, hey, but you're racing Champions League soon and getting UCI points for Australia, what bike are you going to race on? And not only that, there's now rumours, Hank, about what happened to that bike. Did he just take it? Have they used it for testing? Have they measured it? What have they done? We don't know. I don't think you'll get a clear answer off anybody.
No.
But that is behind, the only reaction that Australia could really have in those circumstances. I'm going to rant if I keep going. So
over to you, Hank.
What do you think, Hank?
Wow. This is the first I've just heard of this, Kate. Like, we walked into the studio and you've just told me all that, and I'm trying to digest it. That's a bit out of bounds. And I know, listen, trying to be positive about it, and you only want the best for the athlete in any circumstances, right? You would hope he would have been way more upfront, because it's a small world, right, that we live in, and sprinting's even smaller. There's probably only 30 riders that ride together. You're on the track doing, maybe 10 competitions in the entire year, and the thing that gets me, I suppose, is the development from a young age to becoming an Olympic medalist. That's the one thing that kind of I can't get. I mean, yeah, it's out of bounds taking your bike and letting the British camp have a real good look at it. The ban after, when you're already saying you're defecting, it just does nothing. But but I will say that, like, Perko rode for Russia, but Perko is probably going to still be able to work for the Australian Cycling Federation in the future. So,
and he's done great things with the para program, and he's had
absolutely.
because it's what he needed for his career. When Shane Perkins rode for, it's what he needed. Mm-hmm. And in fairness, people have said about Richo, like, people are pretty upset with how it came about, but we wish him luck was the universal line. But this just shows an incredible lack of integrity. Shane Perkins, he behaved so respectfully through the whole process. You cannot... Jordan Kirby, another one, he changed countries, but again, he gave everybody respect and behaved with an enormous amount of integrity, and he's now in the Oz cycling coaching system.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a question.
No, I agree.
What do you think? In the paper there was some comments saying he's won medals for Australia, he's repaid his debt, move on.
Good question, Merckxy, because I don't think anymore it's about the defection, right? He's gone, people are bummed with that. Yeah, whether you like it or not, he's right. Like, he won the medals, he did great. I think what is now really the flag, and what Oz Cycling are so upset about, and I think rightfully so, is the hiding.
And then taking intellectual property, which is worth, probably 50% of the track budget. It's
horrible. And, I'm not even going to say that he's a shit bloke. Because I'm everybody makes bad decisions. This was a bad decision. He completely lacked integrity through the whole process of this. He's the only one that truly knows why he behaved in that way. But it's a shame. You're right. You said it's just, kind of symbolic at this point to be banned.
It is symbolic. The only thing is he'll never be able to be involved in anything. And it's kind of sad for him, because he could have actually had great relationships with both Great Britain and Australia, but that's probably not going to be the case now. Well, and it's sad for him for the rest of his life, looking back on those memories, riding for Australia, and he'll go, "Oh, they hate me."
Well, but for him to then say, "Oh, it's just words on a piece of paper, it doesn't really mean much," I call BS on that. If he's heartless, if that's what he truly thinks, then he has no heart, love, respect for his teammates, the country that supported him, that he rode with, for everyone who helped him.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah. And
have you had a coffee today?
I know.
She's not pulling any punches on this podcast.
I've had a couple
today.
of coffees today
it.
Before this one. I just think that you do get judged by the things you do, and you then have to deal with the consequences of that. I've made some terrible choices in my life, and I've dealt with the consequences. That's how it works.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of bummer there's not bigger consequences in my view, but what can you do?
I mean, there can't be. Is there legal ramifications for actions like that? Not really, when it's been approved.
I mean, the
And
argument...
we're going to don't want to open a massive can of worms on that.
Look, to summarise that one, I think in the team agreement there was a 2-year ban if you defect. But the lawyers have said, we don't really think it's actually legally enforceable. So that's where the issue comes in. But I think what is important to consider is that this will have a flow-on effect for athletes in the future. You know, those contracts will get tightened. Oz Cycling, I think, have behaved with integrity around this, because what they could have done is try and sue him, go after him personally, and tie him up in court financially for a long time.
Oh, I hope that doesn't happen.
No, but they've chosen not to. They've made that clear. Like, this is what they're doing. They're just going to ban him and move on. But they could have done that, and there would be a lot of people who think that given the breach of intellectual property,
that was an option.
That was an option. So,
wow.
You know, it could have, if they wanted to be quite tough about it, they could have been. Even if they didn't think they could win, they could really make life difficult for him.
Imagine if the shoe was on the other foot.
See, I believe Great Britain would do that. And the basis for that is Carly McCulloch as an example. She came to Australia after her career racing for Australia. She went and coached for Great Britain. When she came back to Australia, she had quite a strong non-compete clause in her contract that GB didn't let her out of. So she couldn't coach at the Olympics for Australia because of that contract, right? GB enforced that. So
you reckon Australia's upping their lawyer costs?
Yeah.
After this,
well,
do you think?
They don't want to go down that path, but I think...
Well, maybe they have to.
That's the question. You know, is Oz Cycling playing the nice guy? And at what point do you say, okay, we're just being taken for a ride here?
Well, I think Australia has been the nice guy.
They have been.
I think they have been the nice guy. So,
how old is he? Is he a chance for Brisbane 32?
Yeah, he is.
Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that is another serious
I'd
thing
pay
to
go
consider.
And watch that. I'd pay to go and watch that for sure.
Oh,
hey,
the people with memories have memories like elephants around this sort of thing.
But can I say, let this be a lesson to you, Henk. Don't think about going on any other podcasts.
Yeah, we will enforce.
I can neither confirm or deny any interest in any other podcast moving forward.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, go on. Move
All right,
on.
legally. All right, well, I think we've made it pretty clear how we feel about Matthew Richardson. I do hope that, you know, he has everything he dreams of in Great Britain, but I don't think that he's done the right thing, and I think he's hurt a lot of people along the way.
Good luck with the weather over there too, mate.
Yeah, good luck with the weather. No sympathy. Now,
maybe have his holidays in Perth.
Will he be welcome? Oh, he might get caught up at the border. Now, let's move on and talk about Strava, because there's a fella by the name of Jack Burke. He's a 29-year-old from Canada, used to ride for Jelly Belly. Now, he has been on a little bit of a Strava blitz, Henk, because he is desperately seeking a contract. Overnight, he has ridden the 21 hairpins of Alpe d'Huez in record time, beating the record that Sepp Kuss set during the 2022 Tour de France. He's also got the record up the Motorola. He broke Nibali's Strava record up there, 67 seconds faster. Not 6.7, 1 minute and 7 seconds faster. And he is also claiming to have broken the record on Stelvio, and he's going after Pogacar's Col de Madone record.
Hang on, does that make him a KOM swallower?
No. He will not be at all.
Good one, Merckxy.
He will not be.
I don't think he's welcome in the WhatsApp group, is he?
No, he will not be a member of our group. I call a fair bit of bullshit on that.
Okay, well, so there's two things I want to discuss here, Henk. The first is, if this is legitimate, then should a team give him a contract? Like, if he can climb that fast, is there a world to a team that would be like, wow?
No.
Okay.
N-O with a capital N and a capital O.
Elaborate.
He's had his chance on 2 teams already. Did he win any races on those 2
Look,
teams?
he doesn't have a great CV.
No. Oh, well, there you go. There's number one reason. You know the other reason? He was pos as a junior. Are we seeing a pattern? Are we seeing a pattern here, Katherine?
Now, what you're referring to is back in 2013, he tested positive for a diuretic. I've written this down so I can say
Hydro something.
Hydrochlorothiazide. All right. Now, he was banned for 2 years. It was overturned. It went in and out of the court system all the way to the International Court of Arbitration for Sport. Ultimately, he got off and he was able to keep riding. Right. So
he's innocent. But for the lawyers,
look,
he's innocent.
What we can say is that with that record and now these record-breaking feats, is it any wonder that a team might look at these Strava, KOMs with a little bit of trepidation and ill feeling and
every
distrust?
single director sportive in the world who sees this article is having a giggle.
But just to clarify,
like a bit of a giggle.
He was cleared, wasn't he?
He was cleared, yes. It might be easy to look at these records and go, oh my gosh, people are crazy. Why haven't they signed him? So that's just a bit of context on why team directors may be like, no.
Context. So, you got to understand, right? So, Sepp Kuss is 18 days into the Tour de France. He's probably done 3 climbs before that and 24 other mountain passes in 35-degree heat and already ridden the front for his team leader. He's cooked. And he also passed his drug test after the race.
So even if he did beat him, it's not really apples and apples.
I mean, if you go and drill all your cranks out and make your bike as light as possible, and you go and do 40,000 Ks a year and you get to the bottom of the Stelvio and you're absolute best condition of your life, and you go bottom to top, no water bottles, you're fresh as the daisy, no control, and then you go and do this time, if it's legit, then he's obviously got some natural talent. But he's been given a crack on 2 teams. That didn't work out. And, he's 29 years old. He's nearly a 30-year-old. I'm sorry, but, this is just a big publicity. Has he got a big Instagram following and TikTok account where he's making money on social media?
Incidentally, I didn't look him up on social media. I did a bit of research about him, but I didn't go to his particular social media. I didn't pay attention to the numbers.
This is just
so I don't know if he has a big following.
Oh, there's all the
PR,
World Tour directors. No way.
I mean, here's the thing. If you want to use something like Strava, because Jonas Vingegaard, remember, he kind of got talent scouted a bit based on Strava, but that was in a very different environment. It was with his team.
Yes, while he was racing races and doing well in races.
So, I mean, if you were going to use it as a scouting tool, it would have to be in a controlled environment where your bike, number one, your bike was checked for
legal, motor doping.
Legal, right? And then your body was checked. You can't get a world you can't do an hour world record, not get tested, but claim to have the record.
So here's another suggestion for Mr. Burke. Why don't you go and find a team, go in some races and win some races, and ride really fast in races where there's 150 other bike riders in the race. And when you win that race, then maybe send out a few more. But when you don't race and you just want to step into a World Tour team, I'm sorry, pal, but that just doesn't work that way. Look at my Strava account. I'm so fast. No, mate. Go and race. That's how you get contracts. You win races and you get that. So, anyway, just getting a little emotional there.
All right. Well,
geez, you two are on fire today. I don't know what's in the water.
I've only had one coffee and that was at 4:30 a.m.
Well, good luck, Jack Burke. You've heard here what our resident expert thinks of that. So not sure you'll be getting too many calls. Somebody who gets a lot of calls, Remco Evenepoel. The article headlines would make you think that he's trying a new sport. The truth is not quite. It's still two-wheeled, but he's been riding his bike with his teammates on the beach. Beach cycling, which is, by the way, a discipline of cycling.
It is.
It is. The UCI haven't got their mitts on it yet.
They will, don't worry.
Stand by. Have you ever ridden your bike on a beach?
I have. A couple of guys, when we were on ARA Pro Racing Sunshine Coast, we wanted to put a race from Double Island Point to Noosa North Shore.
How far
on
is
the
that?
beach. It's way too far. We tried it. We didn't make it because it's quite soft, and you have to do it in really, really low tide, which could be in the middle of the night. So it's super hard. But if you get right on low tide, it's quite the sand, not soft sand, the hard sand is super quick. I have tried it and it's really hard and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a heap of fun, but do yourself a favour and jump on YouTube because there's actually races in Holland where there's like 200 of them. If you look on YouTube, there's some awesome crashes and they're falling on sand, so they're all good. I mean, it's hard sand, but it's not, bitumen.
I would rather fall on sand than bitumen. I mean,
it's a winter sport too.
It's actually one of the things about falling on a velodrome versus on the road. On the velodrome, you get splinters. That's the worst part. But the wood does absorb some of the impact.
Better than bitumen.
Yeah, so you do break less bones per fall compared to bitumen. And sand, I would say. Yeah, I mean,
everyone's rolled around in the sand and fallen over. But do yourself a favour, jump on YouTube, and there's some really excellent footage of some ex-pros racing in Holland. Not sure if they do it in Belgium, but in the north of Holland, like the beaches are super wide, and on low tide they do race and they get hundreds, and there's this one video where they go over this pipe, and anyway they hit it at 60 with a tailwind. You know how windy it is in Holland, right? Like it is ridiculous on the North Sea.
If you've got a tailwind, a North Sea breeze blowing you along.
Yeah, so they roll over this pipe and a couple just weren't ready for it. They had their head down and they just go arse over breakfast. It's excellent to watch.
Friend of the show, Robbie McEwen, he puts up shots of him riding his bike down the Gold Coast on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, if you've got tyres. Yeah, big fat tyres, you need that surface area. I've ridden on the beach once. It was not pleasant. I don't even love walking on the beach, to be honest. I mean, it's good for the soul, but in terms of my body,
I used to do some cross training.
Well, it's very good for you.
Well, it is.
Sand hills? Did you run sand hills?
No. I used to jump in at Cottesloe, swim to North Cottesloe. That's where all the big bitey sharks
I was about
live.
to say, isn't that where the great whites are?
Yeah, there's probably more people being eaten by sharks there than most in the world.
Good.
Anyway, when you're young, you're bulletproof. Don't worry. I didn't have much. I had way less fat on me then, so it was all good. And I never went at lunchtime. So I'd get out at North Cott and run back, and I'd try and do that twice, and that used to kill me on the soft sand. And when I mean run, I mean just move forward in a momentum.
What is a shark's lunchtime?
It's just a saying. Somewhere where you can see them, like at night time, then your breakfast and lunch and dinner.
You're all of them. Well, I don't think that he'll be swapping over to beach racing anytime soon.
Nah, I mean all the European teams now are just like looking for some fun stuff to do in the off season. Like you go do cross country skiing, like Jack Haig does in Andorra. He does a lot of that stuff. There's beach riding because it's not on a wet road. It's kind of like fun to ride on the beach with your mates, or if you're with your team. It's cross training essentially, a bit fun, not the monotonous of jumping on the same roads you've been on and you train on the entire year. So it's more of a team bonding aspect, I reckon, for him. So
well, I say
don't worry, Belgians. He's not going over to beach racing anytime soon. He still will try to win the Tour de France.
Yes, don't worry, Belgium. You can take a collective sigh of relief on that one. I think Demi Vollering has been running with her new FDJ squad. So she's, that's pretty traditional, isn't it? Doing a bit of running in the off season.
Yeah, a lot of bike riders are starting to do it. I think it's good. Straightens you up. I think a bit. You know what I mean? You're hunched over your whole time. Running is great. Big Will Clark used to do that when he was with us in Drapac. He used to go on the training camp and go for a few runs. Said it made him feel better. Oh. Good for bone density too, I might add. All these bike riders crashing, their bone density is pretty horrific.
It is, yeah. You need to do impact. So
or weights.
Load up.
Weights does the same thing. Weights does the same thing as that. It's just way less. Soft tissue injuries can happen very quickly.
I stuck to the weights because I kind of run, if you can imagine like a baby elephant with a baby giraffe, where the giraffe comes out and their legs go in the wrong direction. Yeah. That's kind of what I look like when I run, if you can imagine that.
Yeah, well,
so I stuck to weights.
I've just put weight on.
I
never did weights. I've just put weight on.
Well, that's load bearing.
You're allowed to.
in and of itself. Let's talk about the Tour Down Under, because before we know it, we're not too far from Christmas. And then the summer of cycling begins, of course, in Perth at Nationals. We're very excited about that. Tour Down Under, they bring stars out. It's so good for the sport.
It is.
And for the fans, it gets people down there. They get to be up close and personal with some of the European stars. This year, Geraint Thomas is coming out. Gee.
I wonder if we can get him on our podcast.
Gee, that'd be popular.
Gee. Okay. Ching. What's that? You know, put the drum roll in there. That was
can you
fabulous.
do that, Merckxy? Can you pop that drum roll in for us? Listen, he is an absolute superstar. He's Tour de France winner.
World champion.
Exactly.
Was he Olympic champion
He
as
was
well?
Olympic champion in the team's pursuit.
So he's kind of like a
Yes.
Cav.
He's more versatile than Cav, because Cav, took his speed from the track and turned it into speed on the road. But Geraint Thomas, you have to be pretty speedy to ride a sub 4-minute team's pursuit and then win a Tour de France.
And you know what I love about G? He is one of the most personable blokes, I think, in the peloton, that has a real personality and a character. He's not just, who won the 1995 Tour de France? I mean, you don't, a lot of people have won the Tour de France, once a year, all right? But
Geraint Thomas, he's very memorable. Now, rumour has it that 2025 might be his final year. His contract runs out at the end of 2025. Are we seeing his, last hurrah?
Oh, he might do a Chris Froome some other day.
I'll tell you what, he loves a beer.
Yeah, good on him.
I can see him. He'll be at the Crown and Anchor.
This is my
smashing a
point
schooner
exactly about
or a
being
pint.
a toppy. He loves a beer. He loves he has a personality, a real character. He's kind of the stalwart of the peloton. He's the calm head, and everyone kind of can connect with G because he's a lad. You know what I mean? Like same with Luke Froh. Those two. That's why they have their podcast. Not trying to push their podcast or anything here, but if you have a podcast, you've got to be pretty cool, don't you?
I reckon based on how many people listen to their podcast, everybody who listens to us probably listens to them as well.
Yeah, I reckon.
To be honest. So you reckon, now Merckxy, this might be a job for you, to woo him onto the Wheelhouse. Beer? Do we offer him beer? Hey, G, what's your favourite beer? Here is our formal pitch. We would really love to have you as a guest on the Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast when you come to Australia for the Tour Down Under. We will offer you beer. Henk, have you got anything to add to the
No, just
to the
more
pitch?
beer.
More beer.
More beer. We've got no money, so we need beer.
So
it's like a bartering system.
Oh, there you go. So, G, if you would like to join Henk and I and Merckxy, Merckxy will bring you the beer. Let us know what you want. That's
G
pretty
up.
compelling, right?
G up, G.
Yeah.
We got and Joel, and we've got the.
Gee, that'll be cool.
We've got the nude photos we could show him.
No, maybe keep them out of it in the discussion process.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he'd like them.
No, he would have seen them already. He would have, grown up for some inspiration.
Probably wasn't born then.
He was, but he was quite young, so I hope that he didn't see them at the time, or that would not be appropriate. That is like a really good time to move on, I think. That conversation's starting to go south, like most of ours have today.
Yes.
This weekend.
But TDU is going to be cool.
But TDU is going to be very cool. You know what else is going to be very cool? The Blackline Track Cycling League this weekend in Brisbane, Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, 11:30 to 6 p.m. On Sunday, 10:30 to 4 p.m. If you're in Brisbane or anywhere in southeast Queensland, come on down to the Meares Velodrome. It's going to be sensational. Merckxy, we've got a team out there.
How's that team going? Is that team going well?
They went very well in Sydney. They were on the podium. And I think we're shaping for quite a good performance up here.
Well, this is the flagship, right? Isn't the Brizzy one going to be the biggest one?
Oh,
I mean, it's the best track in Australia, right? And we are
yeah.
a little bit biased.
We are a little bit biased.
And
look,
there's nothing going on in Tungray anymore. Threw that one.
Wow.
I was
Rub it
thinking
in.
about doing some baking for them.
Baking?
Maybe some spaghetti bolognese to help fuel them.
Oh.
The banana bread Merckxy that you love that I make, I could make some of.
The gluten-free gear.
I
Can
could
we
make
have-
some of that for
We
them.
have some of that next time we do a podcast.
Sure, very good on the gut because it's gluten-free, dairy-free.
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free. Yes, I can confirm.
Sans gluten.
It is.
Sans gluten.
Sans gluten, sans glutzy. So there you go. Before we leave, Hank.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of really important things we need to talk about. The first of which is erecting a Christmas tree. Have you put yours up?
Mine's up.
Merckxy?
It's going to get really rude then.
Yeah, our tree's up. We put it up.
It is. What else have we got, Merckxy?
Shit, I don't know. What do you mean?
Santa.
Oh, Santa on the
Santa?
roof. Big giant Santa.
Have you done any shopping
Giant
yet, Merckxy?
Santa.
Big inflatable one.
No shopping yet?
No shopping yet.
I've done pretty much most of mine.
You're one of those people.
It's Black Friday.
I'm one of those blokes that has no undies left, and then 2 days to go at the end of the year. I'll wait until I get Christmas to get my new undies.
You're
that
an
sounded a bit
undies
off.
for Christmas every year.
We've talked about this, Hank. You must wear undies in the studio.
Okay,
remember?
they're on.
Okay.
Yep, there's
They're
a sign
They're definitely on.
at the front door. If you do need some help Christmas shopping, head to bikebug.com. They've still got some fantastic sales on for that. Over 6,000 products, up to 80% off. Ooh.
Yeah.
So if you want to be cycling inspired, head over there. Check
sure.
that out. Limerick in Ireland, they've put up their yearly town Christmas tree. Hank, it's big, it's beautiful, but the problem is they've put it up right in the middle of a bike path.
Oh,
Honestly.
Now, you are probably not too surprised to understand this has come with a little bit of blowback, but the Limerick Mayor, John Moran, I nearly called him John Moron, which would be fitting.
No, he doesn't like it though. It wasn't his decision.
So he
well,
says.
he's the boss, right?
He's had it moved and he's promised to rethink it for next year. But who in their right mind, even for a moment, thinks a bike path is the correct place for a Christmas tree? It meant that people going around would have to go into oncoming traffic on their bikes.
I think the person that puts that there likes getting sued.
You think they like the attention?
How many crashes or possible deaths can happen via that? That's just ridiculous.
Not the Christmas present you want.
No.
In Brisbane, King George's Square is where the giant tree goes
what's
up.
Where
it called?
people
What's
walk
it called?
around it.
King George Square,
Just King George.
not multiple King Georges.
Just the one.
Just King George Square. You can walk around it.
You
It's
can
not a thoroughfare.
take
In
photos.
Sydney, Martin Place, they do the same thing. Does
But
Limerick, who knows Limerick? If somebody can tell me why they've put it up in a bike lane, is there not a more appropriate place?
Must be a pretty small town to put it on a bike.
There would be a better place
Bike path.
to be sure.
To be sure.
To be
What
sure,
they've
to
done
be
is
sure.
they've moved it onto the footpath.
They put on the footpath.
So now the pedestrians are
go
having
into the bike path.
to either go into the bike path or onto the road to get around it. I don't think that's an adequate solution. Do better,
But I tell you
Limerick.
what, everyone knows about Limerick now, don't
This
they?
is
After
true.
they've been on the podcast.
to be
On
sure.
their podcast. Hey?
Before we go, Hank,
Yes.
you have been a busy little beaver. You have decided that in all your wisdom and experience from racing, you would like to share that with the masses. You've got a bit of a project cooking.
Yes.
Look, this is a little bit of a watch this space. We'll find out more about this in the coming weeks. But can you give us peel back the curtains a bit? Give us a
Yeah.
bit of a share of what you've been up to.
Well, yeah, I've been building a little bit of a business which we're going to launch very, very, very soon. It's kind of all connected to what I've been currently doing.
Oh, you mean nude modelling?
No, that didn't work out so well. Didn't make $1 out of that one. Unless someone wants to give me some. But no, got a coaching business cranking.
And what is the name of said coaching business?
Henk Vogels Coaching.
Henk Vogels Coaching. You heard it here, people.
So yes, got some lovely kit coming, designed by moi.
Will you wear it in studio when it's ready to go?
I'll have to wait and see what it looks on and see whether it's see-through.
Merckxy can model it for us.
I mean, if you can see my rug underneath it, probably not. But yeah, no.
Right. Well, you're
Merckxy
not
could.
Roy Kent.
No.
Like, you don't have chest hair coming out the top of your flamingo
Oh,
shirt.
it's pretty full.
And
There's a fair bit there.
and for the people who are listening and not watching, they're now imagining a
Roy
rug of
Kent
hair coming
and Hank's
outside a
head.
flamingo shirt.
Yes. No. It's exciting, and already working with some really cool athletes.
So you'll be coaching.
Yes, 100%.
That's
Yeah, I'll be
sensational.
coaching. I have done a lot of coaching in the past, and I was very, very lucky to be coached by one of the world's best coaches in Heiko Salzwedel, who
May
rang
he rest
Australia
in
from
peace.
out of the top 30 to breaking world records with us. So that was, learnt a lot from him. So, yeah, just trying to keep imparting knowledge to great young people and anyone, actually, who just wants to get fit for a Grand Fondo or for a trip away. On a velo tours or something like that. So
That is
yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah, more to come on this one.
Well, look, if Merckxy and I decide to embark on any giant Grand Fondos, you reckon you'll give us mates rates on a program?
You guys will get it for some muffins, I reckon.
Muffins.
Yeah, free muffins will do.
Muffins to get rid of the muffin top. I think that is perfectly fitting.
Actually, that's not a bad punchline for the new website. Stop eating muffins and you'll ride faster.
You heard it here. Well, maybe I can bake muffins, not just banana bread.
Maybe.
Entice you there. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Remember that it's not until the 13th of December that the draw for Colin the Colnago, the beautiful C68 Colnago gravel bike, $17,500 worth, could be yours. Check the T's and C's. But all you need to do is spend $149.99 on Pro Laser or Shimano at bikebug.com and you'll go into the draw to win.
I reckon there's pretty good chances in that, right? Like everyone's wants to win the lotto or whatever, but
better than lotto.
Those chances are pretty good because yes.
Well, we will be announcing it on the show. I can't wait to do that. That is going to be very, very exciting because the last time Bikebug gave away a replica Pogacar bike, the reaction was bloody ripper.
Which we're going to play right now.
Sorry, Merckxy, you're really under the pump today. It was a sensational reaction.
Look at his face. He loves editing. He's got nothing to do for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think he just flipped us the bird.
Yes.
Is what. And if you head to bikebug.com/wheelhouse, you can go into the win, into a draw to win a Sturka nutrition pack that I can promise you, Henk and Joel and Merckxy and I have not pilfered much of. No, they will send it to you directly so that we can't get our hands on it. Like, share, subscribe, put your Christmas tree up, just not in the bike lane.
And see you next time.
See you soon.
There you go. Bye.